Yes, everybody, welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. FA Cup action returns, and Wolves are now in the round of 16, just a couple of games away from Wembley. And I think a win this weekend, and Wolves fans can start to maybe dream a little bit, possibly, but it is another tough game as we have to travel to Bournemouth once again. It feels like I may be repeating myself a little bit as I was talking about this match, this fixture, this time last week as well. So it won't be a standard, full, in-depth match preview like we normally do, but I will be giving my thoughts. Obviously what Vitor Pereira has said in his pre-match press conference, and we will get the Bournemouth perspective later on in the video as well. But it was a win against Bournemouth last week. Unfortunately, it was a really flat and disappointing performance during the week against Fulham. It felt like a fixture where, sort of going into it, Wolves could have really built on the momentum that they had after that win against Bournemouth, and could have potentially gone on to build a really nice gap towards the bottom end of the table, especially as Ipswich and Leicester lost in the end. A little bit maybe of a missed opportunity. However, we're in the same boat as what we were sort of at the start of the week. And now all eyes are on the FA Cup action. Wolves are the only 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff in the FA Cup. Every other game is at different times or televised, which probably shows how much the neutrals and the broadcasters think about this fixture. But we know it's going to be a very, very tough game. Wolves managed to get the 3 points last Saturday, although it was against 10 men, and we did okay. We held Bournemouth pretty well. I felt their end product was pretty disappointing, from their point of view. So it is going to be a different test, a tricky test as well, because Bournemouth have been fairly consistent on their day, have been a very, very good team in the Premier League, and I have no doubt they're going to cause us some problems again tomorrow. Now, team selection is going to be a big one. Vitor Pereira was asked about, obviously, the current state of the team. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Agbadou, Gonzalo Guedes and Rodrigo Gomez all remain out. However, Hwang Hee-chan is a possible player to return to the squad as he is now recovered from his injury, which again is going to be a nice little addition of quality to the squad. But Vitor, I feel like I repeat myself. Just it's so much better watching his pre-match press conferences because it's someone that's full of optimism and positivity. And he was asked obviously about the cup and so on, and it just. I think Mike Taylor from the BBC WM had asked him like how important this is and could be for Wolves fans if we go on a little bit of a cup run. And I don't know if Vitor realises the importance of this competition. And it's quite difficult because it's been quite a forgettable season for Wolves. And it is still quite difficult to get excited about fixtures and matches coming up. And it's still an extremely tough task tomorrow. But if we genuinely go on to advance into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, I still think the draw is pretty favourable with some of the teams that are already out. I think we can start to get a little bit of excitement. There's been a question bandied around probably since January, really. If it was FA Cup win or Premier League survival up for grabs, what would you pick? And obviously, maybe let me know that in the comment section down below, because I think a good amount of us would pick if someone offered you the FA Cup win, you wouldn't mind getting relegated. But I still feel there's no reason why we can't go on to do both. I think we're in an okay position now. It's still not guaranteed that we're going to stay in the Premier League. There's still some massive fixtures coming up over the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks. But there's every chance that we can, still focus on the FA Cup and have a little bit of added excitement into the competition now, and hopefully give us that boost of morale and confidence going into Premier League games coming up as well. So, like I said, those players are out injured. In terms of team lineup, how does Vitor line up? I think he's got to go full strength. Now, it was obvious on Tuesday it was flat and there were certain elements maybe of tiredness in there. You would hope now with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the majority is Saturday, the sort of 3.5-ish days rest in there. You'd hope that maybe the players are up for it a little bit more. And I think they will be disappointed with their performance. I'm going to flame my lineup on the screen right now. And I think from Tuesday's team, I think there'll be probably 2 changes. I think Sam Johnston will come in goal naturally because he just, at the moment, he seems to be the cup goalkeeper. I would be very surprised if Jose Sarr was in goal. And then I think Strand Larsen has got to come back in up front. Manetzi didn't have the best of games on Tuesday. I think he's a player that can come on and cause problems and havoc later on in the games, but from the start, I just don't think he's the player. So I think it's got to be Johnston, Ait Nouri, although he didn't have a brilliant game against Fulham. I think we do need improvement there. Semedo on the right, Doc, Bueno and Totti at the back, Andre and João Gomez, Jean-Ric the Bellegarde, Strand Larsen and Mateus Cunha as the front three. And I'm really hoping we can get the win. But like I've said, Bournemouth a tough team. We'll speak and listen to what Craig has to say and maybe in regards to team strength and rotation from a Bournemouth perspective in a minute. But what a huge opportunity this may well be for Wolves. It's not. I'm not at that level of, oh God, I'm really excited. We can go and do this now. But I think you do have to have one eye on it. I think Wolves have got, although we haven't shown it consistently enough, Wolves have got the quality to worry teams and can beat some of the teams left in this competition. So there's every chance we can go and do it. But my heart is not ready to be broken again at Wembley. So if we're going to get to the semi-final, we've got to make sure we win that. And if we get to the final, we've got to make sure we win that ultimately. But yeah, we've got two massive tests first in Bournemouth, and then if we win that, whoever we get in the quarterfinals as well. But we'll pass over to Craig. It's such a shame I've not been able to catch up with him. Obviously, last week I was away. This week, work and everything has just got away from me. But here are his thoughts on last week's fixtures and what we can expect and what he wants from this weekend's game against Wolves.
Hello, Dave, and everybody at Talking Wolves, and hello to all the Wolves fans. It's Craig here from Up the Cherries in all departments. Feels a little bit like deja vu, doesn't it? But hopefully it won't be deja vu for us, because last time out we were beaten by you 1-0 at Dean Court, thanks to a Cunha wonder strike, a fantastic, well-taken goal. My big question is, how are Wolves anywhere near the bottom three based on that performance last weekend? And I think we all know. I think we all know the reason why. It's Gary O'Neill, and of course, he lost the dressing room. And I think that Pereira has got everything in line and in order. The recent performances, like we say, against ourselves, against Liverpool, against Aston Villa, have been exceptional. And it looks as if you are heading in the right direction. But of course, FA Cup weekend, anything potentially could happen. Firstly, my thoughts on that game and my thoughts on that red card. Now, I did say straight after the match, and I did it raw because at the end of the day, if I thought about it and looked at it and reviewed it, maybe my opinions would be a little bit different, and they are a little bit. So, my honest opinion at the time was that the red card was unfair. Zabani won the ball, but did take out the man afterwards. I don't personally think it was a dangerous tackle. I don't think it was warranted a sending off. Looking back at it now, there is, some real questions, and you can turn around and say that maybe if the referee has seen it that way, then I can understand why it's been overturned. Of course, Stockley Park have looked at it and they reviewed it. The big problem with this isn't, this sending off. That's fine. We can take that, but it's the consistency. And we've had things happen to us like that in other games and not, see any ramifications for the other team. Not that I really want to see any players be sent off. But my honest opinion, wasn't a bad tackle. As in, it wasn't dirty. It was definitely a yellow card, 100%. The referee got the decision right and then overturned it with the wrong one. Um, and I think the Zabania's motion kind of put him over the ball rather than what you would normally say, okay, that's a yellow card offence. So yeah, it's however you take it. Hey, we'll take it on the chin. We were beaten by Brighton, of course, midweek as well. So are we on a bad run of form? If we can call this a bad run of form, it shows how far we've come, and a lot of Bournemouth fans are saying that now. With regards to this FA Cup game, I think that Iriola will make a few changes, but I don't think that they're going to be anything drastic. James Hill will no doubt play in the centre of defence. Kirkes, is he maybe feeling the strain a little bit, played a bit too much football. Maybe we'll see Julio Sola, who I spoke to Alejo Rivera about, and he is an outstanding prospect for the future. Alejo said that he's going to be better than Kirkes. Now, if he's 75% of what Kirkes is, we've got a very, very good player on our hands again. So, fingers crossed. Leho is correct on that one, and we've got another very, very good prospects in our ranks. Moving forwards, we're hoping at some point that Evan Nielsen will be, given an opportunity again. And I think although he has emerged from this injury, of course, we are still waiting for him to um, restart effectively. And Dango has done a fantastic job up front, but maybe this is the game where Evan Nielsen can come back into. Of course, it depends on his fitness, depends on what he's feeling like. I saw a lot of Wolves fans saying that the intensity, the way that we broke, even down to 10 men, was very, very good and quick, and we're going to do that again, no doubt. I don't think that the midfield is going to change. I think that what we're going to probably do is we probably move Lewis Cook onto the right back. Tyler Adams will be in that defensive midfield role. Of course, Ryan Christie is going to be out injured after getting an injury against Brighton. Who comes in? This is going to be a reshuffle. Lewis Cook, you would say, is the man that would play in that position. But personally, I think that he'll probably drop back to the right back position to move James Hill into the centre, and we will have another. Maybe Alex Scott will play there, who again himself is a very, very good prospect. Maybe overrated by some, but he's somebody that's very, very exciting for the future. The FA Cup means a lot actually for AFC Bournemouth this season. We are, not looking over our shoulder effectively. Yes, we would love to get a European place, and the top prize would be the Champions League. But let's go for some silverware. And that's what Iriola, and that seems to be what the fans' mentality is. If we maybe have to sacrifice a little bit of league form for a cup, then why not? Why not? Hopefully, we can do both of them. But we are going to be seeing a very, very different game again to what we saw last weekend against Wolves. And I think not so much from Wolves. I expect Wolves to make a few changes, but I don't expect you to make wholesale changes. Um, the question really here is now is relegation, something that is still paramount on Wolves fans' minds. Do you want to drop maybe a couple of players in this competition, or do you want to stick with the current setup and then go into this game, with a full strength team and maybe, sacrifice a little bit of the league form? Again, hopefully you can do both. But of course, hopefully we'll get the better of you on the FA Cup. This is, our number one prize. I think personally, yeah, it would be great to get into Europe. It would be great to actually see, the Champions League. But to get some silverware a day out of Wembley is going to be real progress. And I think we can do it. I think there's possibilities. I think that the cup competition has opened up for both Wolves and AFC Bournemouth, and whoever goes through in this match has got a real shout. Manchester City aren't themselves. Manchester United aren't particularly a great side. So, yeah, I think that it does really open it up. I'm going to stick by my side. I'm going to go with the score that I said last weekend. Hopefully, this time I'm right and not wrong. Hopefully, we can keep it at 11 men ourselves. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for AFC Bournemouth. I'm going to say Justin Kluivert will probably get one, and I think Semenyo will. Evan Nielsen play? Who knows? And I think your man Cunha is going to probably get a consolation, but he's a real threat. Keep him quiet, then we'll be doing something. Unfortunately, to a certain extent, Dean Howson did keep him quiet until that one moment, and he took full advantage of that. That shows what a great player he is. I would love him in the Bournemouth squad. I think many teams would love him in their squad as well. So he's a real talent. Thanks again for inviting me on. All the very best for the rest of the season. You're not going to go down, 100%. Everything is going to go right at Molineux, and yeah, hopefully, no doubt, we'll be doing this next season. All the best, mate. Speak soon.
So big thanks once again to Craig. I'll make sure I leave a link to him in the description. I did a little bit for his channel as well if you want to go and check out that match preview. And as always, guys, let me know your thoughts and score predictions going into this game. As always, really hope Wolves can get the win. But I'll be back on here probably about 5:30 tomorrow giving my reaction. And fingers crossed it's a positive one after the 6th round FA Cup draw between Bournemouth and Wolves. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Enjoy your weekend, guys. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one.